2022-23 UCL season is a season I hold near and dear to my heart because it is the season that my team, Manchester City, finally won the UCL and demolished Real Madrid. Most of the ties were very straightforward, but let's get into it. And in Group A, Napoli would top the group ahead of Liverpool on goal difference, as Napoli would beat Liverpool 4-1 in the first match before losing the reverse fixture 2-0. Group B would be chaos, as Porto would top the group ahead of Club Brugge and Atletico Madrid would get knocked out, finishing last. In Group C, Bayern would go 6 for 6, winning every game, as Inter would finish second ahead of Barcelona, who got sent down to the Europa League. In the Group of Group of D, Tottenham would top the group ahead of Eintracht Frankfurt. The group would be close and it would come down to the wire. In Group E, Chelsea would edge out AC Milan thanks to 2 clean wins, and Salzburg would get sent down to the Europa League. In Group F, Real Madrid would narrowly edge out RB Leipzig, as Leipzig lost one more game than Madrid. Manchester City would top Group G without losing a game, and Dortmund would take second place ahead of Sevilla, who honestly prefer to be in the Europa League anyways. Group H would be insane, as Benfica would top the group on away goals, as they would be tied with PSG on every other metric and would shockingly send Juventus down to the Europa League. As we started the knockouts, we could see RB Leipzig versus Manchester City in the first leg. Riyad Mahrez would score the first goal to give City the lead. City would pile pressure, but Josko Vardiol would score against his future club to claim the draw. In the second leg, Erling Haaland would be unstoppable, as he scored 5 goals and wouldn't score anymore just because he got subbed off. A goal from Gundogan and a late beauty from De Bruyne would give City a 7-0 win and an 8-1 win on aggregate. In the first leg of Club Brugge versus Benfica, Benfica would pile on the pressure, which would result in a penalty that João Mario would score. Goal from David Neres would seal the match. In the second leg, Rafa Silva would score the opening goal with an outside boot shot. Gonzalo Ramos would get 2 goals before a João Mario penalty and a David Neres goal would seal the tie. A late consolation goal from Bjorn Meyer would make the match 5-1, as Benfica would advance with a 7-1 win on aggregate. In Liverpool versus Real Madrid, Darwin Núñez would score the first goal with an insane flick. Mo Salah would score the second off of a Courtois mistake, but that would be the peak of Liverpool in this tie. Vinicius Jr. would score a curler to bring Madrid into the game. Alisson looked at Courtois' mistake and was like, let me try that, giving Vinicius goal the easiest goal of his career. Militao would score from a close free kick to give Madrid the win. 2 goals from Benzema would seal the match to give Madrid a 5-2 win. A late goal from Benzema in the second leg would send Real Madrid through to the next round with a 6-2 aggregate win. In AC Milan versus Tottenham, a singular goal from Brahim Diaz would seal the whole tie. I'm not kidding, an early goal in the first leg would seal the win for AC Milan, as they would advance 1-0 on aggregate. In the first leg of Eintracht Frankfurt versus Napoli, Kvaratskhelia would miss a penalty to break the deadlock, but a goal from Osimhen would give Napoli the lead. A brilliant backheel pass from Cara to Di Lorenzo would give Napoli the win. In the second leg, Victor Osimhen would score a brace, followed by a Zielinski penalty, which would give Napoli a 3-0 win, and this would result in a 5-0 win on aggregate. In the first leg of Dortmund versus Chelsea, Adeyemi would use his speed to score the only goal of the match, giving Dortmund a 1-0 lead. In London, Raheem Sterling would score the first goal to level the tie, and after sustained pressure, Chelsea would get a penalty which was initially missed, but after a check by VAR, there was encroachment which would lead to the penalty being scored and Chelsea winning the tie. Inter Milan would take on Porto, and the first leg would see Lukaku score a late goal to give Inter the win. The second leg would end 0-0, sending Inter through to the next round. PSG vs Bayern was a big tie, and in the first leg in Paris, Bayern would win 1-0 thanks to a Kingsley Coman goal, giving PSG PTSD from 2020. In the second leg in Munich, 2 second-half goals from the GOAT, Eric Choupo-Moting and Serge Gnabry would send Bayern through to the next round, winning 3-0 on aggregate. In the quarterfinals, the first match would be Real Madrid vs Chelsea, and in the first leg in Madrid, Benzema would open things with a goal. Later in the game, super sub Asensio would score from the edge of the box to give Real Madrid a 2-0 win. In the second leg, Rodrigo would score the first goal for Madrid in the second half of the game, totally against the run of play. Rodrigo would score again to send Real Madrid through to the next round. In the next matchup, we would see Benfica take on Inter Milan. 2 second-half goals by Barella and Lukaku would win the first leg. In Milan, Inter would open up the scoring with Barella's curling shots. A header by Arsnes would level the game. Martinez would score to put Inter ahead, and Correa scoring a curler to give Inter a 5-1 lead on aggregate. 2 late goals by Antonio Silva and Peter Musa would make it 5-3 on aggregate, but it was too little too late as Inter would advance to the next round. In Manchester, for City vs Bayern, Rodrigo would score perhaps the best goal of his career to give City the lead. A header from Bernardo Silva and a goal from Erling Haaland would give City a 3-0 win to take to Munich. In Munich, Haaland would miss the penalty, but would redeem himself with a goal that came against the run of play. A late penalty by Joshua Kimmich would give Bayern something, but it wouldn't be enough as City would win to set up a rematch against Real Madrid. In an all-Italian affair, AC Milan would play Napoli. Milan would win the first match 1-0 thanks to defense and a goal by Benacer. In the reverse fixture Naples, Giroud would miss the opening penalty thanks to a save from Meret. A Leao run would set up Giroud for the first goal of the match. VAR would also miss a penalty, but would get a late consolation thanks to a Seaman. Into the semi-finals we had, and we would start with the Milan derby. Inter would score 2 early goals thanks to Dzeko and Mkhitaryan, and would result in an Inter 2-0 win. They wouldn't have to travel far for the second leg, as a late Martinez goal would seal the tie, sending Inter through to the final. In the next tie, we would see a semi-final rematch between Manchester City and Real Madrid. In Madrid, it would be a match of long-distance shots, as Vinicius would open the tie with a rocket. I could remember the dread in me when this goal went in, but luckily De Bruyne would score his own long-distance goal with a ground strike from distance. Chouameni would hit the post from distance as the match would end 1-1. The match in Manchester was probably the happiest I had been as a Man City fan up until this point. Bernardo Silva would score the first 2 goals of the match. Akanji would score off of a deflection from Eder Militao, and I was like, more, I've seen this nonsense. Real Madrid has pulled it off so many times, so when Alvarez scored the 4th goal, it was heavenly bliss, and that would set up Manchester City versus Inter Milan in the final. In Istanbul, Inter would be looking for their first UCL title since 2010, and City would be looking for their first UCL title ever. KDB would be sadly subbed off early with an injury, bringing on Phil Foden. Miscommunication would allow Martinez through on goal, but would miss the shot. Rodri would score off of a rebound to bring the opening goal of the match. A sequence would follow where DiMarco's first header would bounce off of the post and the second off of Lukaku. Lukaku would have a late header but missed, and a last-second corner would be denied, giving Manchester City the UCL. And Man City would also claim the treble as it washed out all the pain from 2022, 2021, and all the years before that. If you'd like to see more sports reviews like this, drop a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.